John Heynoski. You got to do your whole intro, dude. Do your whole intro, dude.
Well,
John
Heynoski. What are we preparing this for an edit?
Nah,
So
yeah,
we're here with John Heynoski. He's got a long legacy in the sport. His dad was an absolute legend. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about your dad and how you got started in arm wrestling?
So my dad was a world champ in 1991, and he was
amateur.
He was yeah, in 1991 at 187 pounds, Natendi Israel. He beat the returning, I believe it was world champ, Ricardo Nicolini. And growing up as a youth, you know, I heard world champ, but I never knew what that was, you know. I knew my dad was a world champ, so that's all that I could really say about it. But I didn't understand what it took, you know. I even still don't understand what it takes now, but I'm trying to, you know.
So how old were you when you started really getting involved in the sport rather than just general exposure?
Okay, so my dad always tried to get me to arm wrestle. However, I was terrible. I mean, I never beat any of my friends, and it was almost demoralizing because I have a dad as a world champ, and I'm going up and losing to my friends, you know? So, and I knew how much my dad expected out of me, so I kind of just deterred from the sport. I'm like, I don't arm wrestle.
Right.
And to say where I kind of sparked my interest, I had a couple amateur tournaments. I had a couple amateur tournaments before the Game of Arms show, and I was really just an amateur, you know, 150-pound amateur, 12 matches. After the show came on, it kind of irritated me. I didn't like getting my ass whipped on national television, so.
But you know what? I knew your dad. You know what? You can talk about this world champion thing.
Yeah.
You can talk about this. I knew your dad. Your dad wasn't just the world champion arm wrestler. Your dad was a dude that, when I seen him, it would just be the head nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
sure.
because he was just like, if you got on the bad side of your dad,
right.
There was enough guys that got knocked out.
Yeah.
By your dad.
You know, want to know a crazy story? So, like, you say that.
Yeah.
There's no man that I've ever seen have more people, like, respect, or I should say maybe fear what he could do, to a point where I had a dirt bike that was stolen as a kid, and my dad ended up taking me. I was maybe 9 years old. We were driving to the people's house who suspected took my bike. We almost had found it, however, my dad had seen the police squad cars pull up. So he's like, all right, we're backing up through the woods and we're going back to this house. So, you know, long story short, the police officer says to my dad, he goes, listen, he goes, John, we're going to find your son's bike. He said, but please, could you go home? Because we don't have enough guys on the squad tonight, on the force tonight, to take you in. Can you please just go home? When I heard state police officers say that they don't want to come down and touch this dude, like, let me tell you something. If police want you, they're going to get you. But if you're one man, that's so. It's
he was known like that, man. Lower East Side, man. Lower East Side was all. This town is tough to begin with, and for you to be on top of that tough meant something.
Yeah.
So Erie obviously is a mecca for arm wrestling.
It's not just a mecca for arm wrestling, a mecca for boxers, a mecca for karate dudes, it's a mecca for every kind of fighting art.
You're just a bad dude.
Yes.
You know, if you're like from that LEF bloodline, you have no choice but to be tough in some aspect, some martial art. Just be a man, you know, and you have
no choice.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, I found success in MMA and in boxing, but
because you were dealing with Dan Carr, Donnie Heynoski, your dad, Lenny Lombardo. These guys are not. You couldn't even go to. Dan Carr would sit in the corner and shoot people with a BB gun.
Right.
Yeah, while you're lifting.
And the thing about it, my dad,
you want to be tough? Get shot with a BB gun while you're lifting.
Oh, dude, this dude
yeah,
man, like. So, I seen stuff growing up as a kid, like 9, 10 years old, that a 10-year-old shouldn't see.
Yes.
I was taken to this place that a 9-year-old kid shouldn't have to go to. Like, I shouldn't have had to find myself at that young of an age. So it almost made me fear competition. So to be honest with you, man, I never really had self-confidence until, you know, roughly about a year ago in arm wrestling. And that's why I honestly think that I'm going to adapt and I'm going to be a lot better than I ever thought I could be, because I can accept a loss and I can smile in that loss and thank the puller who beat me, because you exposed my weakness. So
what's your goal now? What's your ultimate goal right now? Tell me your ultimate goal. And don't give me world peace and all that stuff, man.
To be honest with you,
Where you want to be, dude?
I want to be good enough to go to Europe and to Worlds. You know, I don't want to just be.
Which Worlds? Which world we talking
like
about?
WAF. I want to see, like, you know, my dad's won a world title, but that's his world title. You know, I don't want to live under that shirt like that. You know, I want to make my legacy. And like today, I was called Lightning Jr. or Little Lightning. That's cool, but my dad passed away before he could give me that name. I didn't adopt that name. That's not mine. That's his legacy, right? So I'm gonna make my own, and I have my own name for me, and it was on my hat, you know. And that's me. My dad was Lightning. He deserves that. I gotta make my own way. He's my motivation and whatnot. But you know, I want to go to Worlds. I want to be better than he was, and he would want that from me, you know.
Every parent wants their kid to be better. Genetics and the legacy is a tough thing because it's big shoes to fill.
Right.
And you want your own identity.
Right.
So you're battling for your own thing. But a lot of times that's going to make you even more scrappy and more humble.
Right. And all through my youth. So when my dad was alive, I feared losing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's almost what kept me alive, was my instincts. Mm-hmm. That's why I would win more or less under fear rather than composure. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also why I can accept those losses and overcome, because my arm wrestling has went from like just not focusing and just hoping for that win or that position, rather than reading the match and understanding that, okay, well, you might need to adjust, recover from a loss, etc. You know what I mean?
Now you jumped over to MMA for a while. And then you came back to arm wrestling. You were done with arm wrestling for a while.
So after my dad died, right? I always go back. There's like my life up until my dad died, and then my life after. You know, I have like 2 lives, right? Starts and ends. He died. I was 21 years old, and I was raised as an athlete that you're willing to die in battle, right? Well, when you're not taught how to turn that off in society, that could be bad for your character. So unfortunately, he passed away before I could harness those skills that he built. Like essentially, he built a pretty tough kid without the ability to reason. You know, like if he wasn't there to tell me, hey, no, don't let this one slide. My assumption was like, oh, this dude tests you, okay, it's time to rumble, whether it was right or wrong. So I had to teach myself that medium. He showed me the highs and lows, and I'm figuring out what's in between. So I think that's why it's going to benefit me more, because this is my own. This is my own legacy. You know, he's not here coaching me. He's my motivation, but he's not here telling me what to do. I'm out there reading the books. I'm out there watching the best in the sport. I'm out there getting as much of this exposure as I can. And to be honest with you, my highlight of this day, this tournament, was being able to come here to this after pool, honestly, and pool with Sam and all you guys, Lucas, you. Like this was way more for me than winning first place, to be honest with you. Like that's in the past. This is right now. This is honestly the biggest thing for me.
Right. So we're living the present right now.
Yeah.
So the real question is what's next for
Harrisburg next. Harrisburg's next.
No.
I know that.
When I say what's next, not just what's next week, but what's the long-term goal? Where are the steps? Where are you going? What's the direction?
So you know what? I always see where my idols in the sport are, right? So like Sam's always been a big motivation for me in the sport. Reasons why is because that when I wasn't shit in the sport, he still showed me mad respect. And I always carried that, because no matter where I was at in the sport, or every time we pulled, he was always like, you're getting better, you're getting better. And I don't think he understands what that meant, what that meant for me as motivation from guys that get to look at the champions and be like, yo, those dudes are my motivators. Like, I like motivating people to be the best they can be. So what's next for me is, yeah, you know what? I'd love to make it to the WAL, but again, I still have to pay my dues, you know, and I don't want to fall out of the nest before my wings are ready to fly. Do I think I'll be at that level one day? Absolutely, you know. That is a goal of mine, but there's levels and there's steps in between, you know. I'm like that boxer, right, that's got the good 4 to 6 round pros, right? Now I need to go and see how I do in the 15 round bouts against the guys that have been there, you know. I need to go those 15 rounds. I need to take a loss and bang through the B side of a badass tournament and come back, you know. So that's why today I was on the winning side, and I was willing to take a loss, and I took a loss. I exposed myself and readjusted, and that's what we do, right?
Well, I got to pull with you after a long day of competing at the tournament, and then also after pulling when I came late.
Yeah.
Your hand still feels like a brick.
For 159, not bad, huh?
For 155, sub 160 guy, something to deal with.
Yeah.
And you're still young.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, hey, it's guys like you that keep guys like us motivated, you know? We're every day grinding, so your grind is my grind, man.
I love it. That's
iron sharpens iron, baby.
That's it, buddy. That's it.
That's it, man.